Today we are going to discuss about a few topics of philosophy, and we have here logic and epistemology. In that area, we are going to discuss the topic of nature of logic today. And before going ahead, friends, please subscribe to my channel so that I'll be able to do more and more videos for you guys. Please subscribe, share, and comment if you have any questions. Let us move ahead. Objectives of this session. And what I'm looking at the end of this session is you'll be able to understand and answer the following questions. The questions are: what is logic? And what is the nature of logic? So these are the two areas we are constantly focusing in the session. Let us start with what is logic. Let us understand what is logic and then move forward. Logic is a word which is derived from Greek words. Those Greek words are logike, which is an adjective in Greek, and logos, which is a Greek noun. This stands for a thought or a word as expression of thought. So logic is nothing but an expression of thought. So let us keep it that way for now, and let us move forward and see what it is. So here it is said etymologically, logic is science of thought as expressed in language. So here we can understand that the logic needs a language to express, right? So without a language, we cannot express any logic. A thought remains mere as a thought inside the mind, but it will not get manifested, or it will not get expressed in any way, because if you don't use language. So language is a tool that expresses logic to others. So language is very, very important here, friends. So we had to observe that. So we can say that logic is the science of thought as expressed in language. We can alternatively use the word reasoning for thought also. So that for thought, we can use alternatively the word reasoning also. Okay, and as as we see the word logos, you know what a logo is, right? Many of our companies use a logo to express their story, their background, or whatever their motives and all, right? So here we'll see some logos, company logos, I mean. But these company logos are no way connected to our logic, the topic logic here. And I just wanted to show you, because we are mentioning a word called logos here, so that you can remember logos is connected with logic. Okay, so now let us see how the companies, by using a logo, express their stories, right? Express their concepts, or express their motives, or express their background. Okay, let us see some logos here. See, this is we know it is an Apple logo, right? It is half bitten apple, and which comes from the story of Alan Turing, who was considered as father of artificial intelligence. He was known as father of artificial intelligence, and his death was caused by this apple. That's what they proclaimed. That's what it was speculated. The real story is not known. It is not sure that he died of this half-bitten apple, which was not, of course, tested any poisonous or whatever during the time or whatever. Let us see, so the apple wanted to take inspiration from Alan Turing, who was father of artificial intelligence. Okay? And another logo here, Amazon logo. As Amazon, we know they claim to sell all the items, starting from A to Z, right? So we know this story. Many of us know this story. So um, their idea, their thought, their reasoning of establishing a company is They want to sell everything starting from A to Z. So that's what they claim. Not sure whether do it or not. And let us move forward. Here is the logo of FedEx. We know FedEx is a company, a courier company, moves cargo from one place to another place, and so uh, it's a kind of like packers and mover company, right? In US, based in US, and but if you closely observe their logo, between the letter E and the letter X, like you can see an arrow, okay, pointing towards right side, um, which stands for they're moving stuff from one place to another place. The arrow is cleverly placed in positive area and artistically. Very nice logo. And so these are the three logos I just want to discuss with you so that you can remember the word logos, right? So logos, as we know, it's a thought or a word as expression of thought, right? And in my next slide, what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand this same diagram furthermore so that you can have a big picture in your mind. Whenever the question is asked, what is logic, you can remember this flow chart and answer the question. So friends, let us expand this diagram furthermore so that you can have a big picture in your mind. When a question like what is logic is asked, you can remember this picture and write a lot of notes. Okay, and I want to strongly suggest you that whenever you come to my classroom, you bring a pen and a book, like, so that you can write down all these figures and other notes in your notebook, so that you can remember it and rewrite the same thing. Okay, let us move forward. Here, this diagram we have already seen in the previous slide. Like logic is coming from logic and logos, right? So we'll move forward. So logic, broadly we can define it as a science of reasoning or thought that is expressed in language. So this is a broad definition of logic. Just remember that. So I want to reiterate, it's a science of reasoning or thought that is expressed in language. So language must be there to express logic. Without language, we cannot express. Okay, so this is a basic difference between animals and human beings. So because the animals don't have any language, they cannot express their logic. Okay, not that they don't have logic, but they don't have a tool like language to express their logic. So that is the basic difference. So you cannot say like the animal is not logical, and we see like animals acting very logically in at some given some situation, and but they cannot express because they don't have the tool of logic to express, right? Move forward and let us see now like what is reasoning. We'll take a deep dive into reasoning, what it is. Let us take a deep dive into the word reasoning and let us see what it is. Reasoning is defined as passing from something known to something unknown. So remember the words, passing from something known to something unknown, right? So let us see like what do I mean by something known and something unknown. Okay, and let us see this by using the use of an example here. Let us see an example here. Here we have two statements, number one and number two. And the first statement is saying all human beings are mortal. And the second statement is saying a child is a human being, right? So there are two sentences here which are saying all human beings are mortal and a child is human being. So what can we understand from these two sentences? And we can consider these two sentences as a knowledge, right? So here here we have another statement which is going to be called as a conclusion. So from the above two statements we can conclude that the child is mortal, because all human beings are mortal, and a child is also a human being. So because a child is a human being, and all human beings are mortal, we can conclude that the child is mortal. So we used two given statements which are called as premises. So using that premises, we concluded something which is not seen actually, right? So now let us see the first two statements are which are given to us, which are nothing but our knowledge, are called as premises, and that is the known, the data, the direct knowledge, right? So this is what is something known. Okay, we said the reasoning is passing from something known to something unknown, right? Right. So something unknown is nothing but the premises. Okay. So the given statements, the given sentences, the data or the direct knowledge always is going to be considered as the premises, and the last sentence is going to be considered as conclusion. So that is what we have derived from the from our knowledge, right? So so it is called as the conclusion, the unknown, the inference, or direct knowledge, right? So here now we are clear what is something unknown and something unknown. Okay, when we said reasoning is passing from something known to something unknown, so now it is nothing but the reasoning is nothing but passing from the premises to the conclusion, right? And this kind of the logic which is mentioned here is a core method of Aristotle logic. So Aristotle, as we know, is a father of logic, and he invented this method of deduction, and it is also called as deduction, deductive logic or deduction. Okay, let's move on and move on to the second thing in our session today. That is, what is the nature of logic? Nature of logic, it depends on mediate knowledge. It works with mediate knowledge. The nature of logic is normative science. It is of normative science, and it is science of sciences and art of arts. It is also going to be said as formal science, and it will have inferences. So these are the five things we have as a nature of logic. We will see each one of these in detail now. First one is mediate knowledge. Mediate knowledge. Before we talk about mediate knowledge, we'll see what is immediate knowledge. Okay, then we can better understand what is mediate knowledge. Okay, so mediate knowledge is nothing but the knowledge which is derived from external and internal perception. Okay, so what do we mean by external perception and internal perception? External perception is when we connect with external objects using our sensory, like tactual, visual, olfactory, gustatory, and all this, like so we taste things, we see things, we touch things to get these are the things, like these are the channels. Like the sensory is a channel where we get our knowledge. So we see something, we see a person walking on road, from with our eyes. That is our knowledge. We see that is happening in front of our eyes. So that is kind of knowledge which is known as immediate knowledge. Okay, now in normal circumstances, this knowledge is already true, right? So when we see things, it is already true, because they're happening in front of your eyes. If you hear some sound using your sensory, and that is true because that happened, you heard it, right? So there is no point proving these things. because they are already true. You know it directly, and this is called immediate knowledge. Now we'll talk about mediate knowledge. Mediate knowledge is something which is unperceived, like which we did not see, you never saw it actually. It is derived from inference, testimony, and authority. So authority is something nothing but authority is nothing but when the higher official, when a higher authority than you, tell you something, you have to believe it. So that is immediate knowledge. And testimony. Testimony is a trustworthy person telling you something and you believe it. It is called testimony. So testimony is nothing but a trustworthy person telling you something. So then you'll believe it. Inference is nothing but you derive something from the known knowledge. Okay, the so you derive things like like we have seen in the example before, the previous slide. So we derived the child is mortal from the known uh, premises, right? So this is the immediate knowledge. So logic is only concerned with the immediate knowledge. It doesn't care about immediate knowledge because immediate knowledge is already true. There's nothing to prove or or derive something out of this thing, out of immediate knowledge. But immediate knowledge is known thing. You use knowledge to derive something unknown. So that's what is the role of logic in immediate knowledge. See, we are here saying that logic is concerned with proving something that is not directly conceived. Okay, so it is concerned with proving something that is not directly conceived. Okay, normative sense. Logic is a normative sense. That's what we are going to discuss now. Before knowing what is normative science, so let us find out what is positive science. Positive science, it takes the phenomena for granted. It takes the phenomena for granted. For example, if you see gravity, it takes gravity for granted. It doesn't care why it all there is gravity and what it is doing, why it is happening and all. In positive science, it doesn't look for seeks to see the truth behind why at all there is gravity and all. So it takes it for granted. So positive science is the thing like which takes the phenomena for granted, any phenomena, and it deals with the things as they are. So it deals with the things as they are, and it doesn't care what they are or how they are and why at all there are these things and all. So it deals with the things as they are. And coming back to normative science doesn't take phenomena for granted. It deals with the things as they should be. So it deals with the things as they should be. So so it deals with the things as they ought to be. Okay, it will define the things, what is the end result and all. It defines the thing. Defines the ends actually. So it says this is the end of it, this is the end of it, this is the end of it. It tries to find out why the phenomenon is happening and all. So it seeks to find the truth behind the phenomena. So that's why it is called normative science. So you can remember it as it deals with the things as they ought to be. Okay, so it's a science of art, you can say. And it is defined as logic is defined as science of sciences because it is called science of sciences because every science must be logical. So every science, we know it must be logical. It is, it must conform to the general laws of correct thinking dealt within logic. So every science, as we know, it is based on some rules, and the rules are based on logic, some logic. Suppose if we take a triangle in mass, it's a it's a an entity in mass which depends on some logic. So it has only three sides and it has some internal angles and all that stuff, right? So it must be based on some logic. So all the sciences are based on logic. So if the science is based on logic, so logic is obviously going to be science of sciences, all the sciences, right? It's a mother of all sciences. The second point is logic is common base to all the sciences. Okay, that's what these 2 points. Remember, very very important. And now see, we have already mentioned. We have also mentioned that it is art of arts. What is art? Why it is art of arts? What is an art actually? We'll see. Logic has been called as art of arts because the various arts follow rules for attaining truth in their own particular spheres, right? So, what is the objective of any art? The art needs to attain the truth in the end. The truth is nothing but something like if a painter like paints a paint, like he wants to show the people that the aesthetics in it, right? So it has to be very beautiful in the end, or something like that, right? So that is the truth behind the art. So art, as a subject, it seeks to follow the rules to attain the truth in the end. Okay, and that's what logic is also doing here. So we we say they all follow the rules for attaining the truth in general. Okay, so the basic nature of logic is to follow some rules and find out the truth, because it is logic is trying to follow some rules for attaining the truth in the end. It is said to be art of arts. And now we come to a point. It is why it is formal science. Formal science, what it does, logic deals with the questions of validity of arguments, and the validity depends on forms of arguments, right? So the validity obviously depends on the form of the argument. Okay, we have various forms of arguments, like we are going to see in my next lessons. Okay, so here we can say logic is said to be science of valid forms of argument. This is why logic is called as formal science of thought, right? It also studies valid forms of reasoning like any other science. Now we have another point. As we saw in the example, like the premises are always taken as true, right? We consider them as true. Conclude if some conclude something out of the premises. We consider the premises to be true and the conclude the conclusion. So conclude the derive something out of these premises, right? So and we are concerned only with the conclusion correctly follows from the premises or not. So that's why it is called formal science. Now we are talking about a very important topic in logic, that is inferences. Okay, so now we'll see what is an inference. Inference is divided into two parts. One is deduction and another is induction. Okay, deduction, a part of it like we have already seen before using an example. Now let us take another example to see deduction and induction. Okay, to explain you with an example, let us take an example of where uh, where premise one is all men are mortal, premise two is Rama is a man, and now we are going to conclude that therefore Rama is mortal. So because all men are mortal and Rama is a man, therefore we can say Rama is mortal, right? So this kind of logic is deductive logic. So this is called deduction, which was invented by Aristotle. Now we'll take an example for induction. In this example, we have three premises. Like premise one, the first cat is black. Premise two, the second cat is also black. Premise three, the third cat is also black. Now what we are going to conclude. Therefore, all the cats are black. So premise one is talking about one cat, and premise two another cat. Premise three another cat. And but the conclusion is we are talking about all the universe. Therefore, all the cats are black. So this is this kind of logic. This kind of logic is induction logic or inductive logic. Now let us see the difference between deduction and induction. Okay. So first difference is the premises are assumed to be true, and in induction the premises are derived from the experience. Okay. Now let us see this. See this difference. The first difference is in the deduction the premises are assumed to be true. Like P1 P2 all men are mortal and Rama is man, they're considered to be true. Okay, we are assuming them to be true. But in case of induction, the first cat is black, the second cat is also black, third cat is also black. These are our, this is all our experience. We saw that, we perceived it, we perceived that is true, right? We saw that it is our experience. Okay, and we are therefore we are saying all the cats are black. We are concluding that therefore all the cats are black. And induction, the premises are derived from the experience. Okay. Second difference is it aims merely at formal truth. The deduction aims at formal truth, but induction aims at formal as well as material truth. In induction aims at formal as well as material truth. Okay. Third thing is the conclusion cannot be more general than the premises. Here, this is very important point you have to observe. We have to spend some time here to understand this point here. Point. If you look at in deduction, premise one is all men are mortal. We are talking about all men are mortal. We are talking about all men in the universe. Okay, no man is left behind. So we are talking about a universe. Okay, and and if you look at the conclusion, therefore Rama is mortal. We are talking about a single person. So see the quantity. In the premise, the quantity is universal. In conclusion, the quantity is only one. The conclusion cannot be more general than the premises. But on the other hand, induction, the conclusion is always more general than the premises, because we are talking about first cat, second cat, third cat. We talked about only three cats there, but in the conclusion, in induction, we are saying therefore all the cats are black. All means a universe. So we are saying we're talking about the universe by taking the example of only three cats. Okay, so we can say the conclusion is always more general than the premises in induction. Fourth point, in deduction, the conclusion is certain. Because we derived or we know all men are mortal and Rama is man, and therefore we say Rama is mortal. So it is certain. But in induction, the conclusion is only probable. So it may be correct or not, we cannot say actually. So in induction, the conclusion is only probable. Okay. If it all it becomes true, then it is just an accident. But whereas in deduction, the conclusion is guaranteed. Conclusion is a truth. As a fifth point, the conclusion is implied in the premises. The conclusion already implied in the premises, like because we are talking about all men, one of the men, Rama is one of the men, right? So we are talking about that person only. So the conclusion is implied in the premises in deduction. In induction, the conclusion is not implied in the premises, because we are talking about first cat, second cat, third cat in premises. But in the conclusion, we are talking about all the cats, so which is not implied in the premises, right? So these are the important differences, guys. So please, this is very important, and this could be a separate individual question also. They talk about differences between deduction and induction, and they'll talk about the features of induction or whatever. So give an example. Remember these examples and note down all these differences in your notebook so that you can remember. Okay. So this all what I have for the session, and thank you very much for watching. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, share, comment, and if you have any questions and any suggestions or whatever, and you can always comment down below, and I'll reply you. as soon as I can. Okay, thank you very much for watching my channel. Keep watching and for more and more videos, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Bye bye.